Is this an Attack on Titan opening? Okay. Holy shit. Like, this is how I'd imagine if they did an animated Walking Dead series, what it would look like. Corruption. Oh, so as soon as you pick it up. Oh, that's why she's a skeleton in the opening. So by using the sword, it melts you away. Ah, there we go. Title drop already. So that's where the title... See, I thought the title was going to be something else, but it's basically her mental state of just basically roll over and die. That's all you are good for. Huh? Oh man, this show's not gonna be for the weak summited. They're getting across the... This is probably the closest I've seen to like Walking Dead Gore, I gotta be real, in terms of flesh being ripped off. Oh, so there's like an inventory system, Shangri-La Frontier style. Okay. Reversal. So she can only use weapons that are cursed. Cursed weapons would normally hurt you, but because she has a reversal... Oh, so the strongest shit only she'll be able to use. That's interesting. Jesus. Holy hell. If you got this far in the video, you know what to do. Drop a like, share, support. Subscribe if you're a new rounder and you know a Patreon's where you're going to catch my full live reaction to all its greatness and more. Also helps fund the channel videos just like these, so consider supporting. Roll Over and Die was one that I had my eye on. And when I initially went over the full chart, which I do on Patreon, I do a full chart breakdown. And then on YouTube, I do my condensed version, what I think I'm going to watch. I didn't really mention this one, but it was one that I had my eye on. But to my surprise, there was a decent amount saying don't sleep on this. And it had me say, okay, maybe it's going to be pretty good. Kind of wild because it was so lowly ranked, but this was clearly a case of people who actually read the source material knowing its greatness, and for some reason, there wasn't a lot of popularity backing it. This is one that could easily blow up, and if not, everyone who watches it is going to have the same reaction. How the fuck are you sleeping on this? There's definitely been some extra edge and some extra gore this season already, but I think this one will actually take the cake. This is probably the closest show to something like watching The Walking Dead, where zombies are biting into flesh and peeling it off. And anyone who watched that show knows how good the prosthetics were in live action, that it actually made you feel like you were ripping into bodies in that show. The same thing with the ghouls in this show. Now, of course, when you have an opening that's as much of a headbanger as this, you're going to be thrashing around as you're also a little like, oh shit, what am I seeing? This is what a lot of shows would do when it comes to its gore, big blood splatter. That's what we see all the time. And while sure, that can add impact to the gore, it's not enough to back what I've been saying about how brutal the show is. That's where the zombie biting kind of comes into play. Yes, they're ghouls, but we're going to basically treat them like zombies, given that's the best way I can get people to understand who haven't watched the show yet to actually see what's happening. Let's just go frame by frame of what is basically a zombie biting someone and pulling their flesh out. Now, at a static frame, this doesn't look too bad, right? Of course, because it's just like, oh, he's got a little beef jerky in his mouth. It's fine. But let me just say, watching this shit in motion with the screams happening and the blood effects, this is the closest thing I've seen since, honestly, A Walking Dead that made me feel like, oh, this is like proper, like zombie ripping into flesh. Ghouls, yes, but still, you get my point. Now, the thing that you'll always hear me come back to on this channel is gore for the sake of gore or edge for the sake of edge isn't anything worth watching past maybe an episode. So there are different ways to get across violence in a show like this, and in order for you as a viewer to continue watching and caring, is, especially if you don't want the viewer to grow numb, is to have what's happening on screen have a meaning. In this case, you have a slave owner doing this for amusement. You've already set the groundwork for why this is happening from the villain side, but now here's the thing. How, from our point of view, why should we care that the violence is happening beyond just basic human empathy? Well, they actually established very quickly that we have an assortment of slaves. And just naturally, human instinct is, well, humans don't deserve to be treated like this as some sort of amusement for sick, rich bastards, right? So immediately right away, you're saying, okay, so all this happening, you immediately are getting queasy because you don't want to see this happening. Okay, excellent, you got your groundwork. But here's the thing. If you're just going to keep throwing these characters into essentially torture porn situations, why will we not grow numb to it, and why will we continue watching it when it loses its edge? And that's where the story beats immediately hook me in. And it's a super simple, but it's a very effective one. Your MC here basically was chosen to kind of be the hero. She's in a hero's party, go save the day, right? But she has no skills, nothing. All we know is she has some sort of affinity for reversal, right? Everything else, her stats suck. She doesn't have stamina. Eventually, her hero's party tosses her away. It gets to a point where you're not useful, makes sense. Granted, do I believe all of them wanted to sell her? I definitely think some of the information was not given to all of them, especially given childhood friend dynamics, but it could be. Maybe they just all truly were shit. There's this sword. So the rich bastard throws in this sword, and as soon as anyone tries to touch it, they essentially melt off. They are dying. And in the opening, you see her as a skeleton, so I'm thinking, oh, her affinity is just going to allow her to get damaged, and then maybe the other slave girl will heal her. I'm thinking that's the dynamic going to go. No, it's so much simpler and more... Honestly, it's so cool because I can't think of the last time I've seen an anime use this as the punchline. So because her ability is reversal, a sword that drops all your stats, so I think they say it should lower at 995, also it will just continuously hurt you. If she has the ability of reversal, that means she's gaining 995 to all of her stats when using the sword, on top of the fact the sword is continuously healing her. That's a really fun, simple premise that you're like, okay, here's a girl who is branded as a slave. The world is going to treat her as a slave, and they treat her very poorly. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But here's her punchline. I thought I was useless. I was treated as useless. And now I'm happy to know that there's some way I'm going to be able to be useful and potentially maybe get revenge on those who wronged me, but also find a new path in life that won't screw me over. You have this girl who has only ever known being a slave. And I think what's interesting is that slavery in anime is common, but usually it's like, here's insert MC who frees a slave. Slave is in love with master because of almost like a Stockholm syndrome situation. She thinks the power imbalance makes her have to love her. It's a whole thing, right? Both of them started out as a slave. Yes, our girl was new to being a slave, but it's not like, oh, here's my hero who saved. It's like, no, we both broke out at the same time. So whatever relationship builds here, because I do believe it's a dark Yuri if I'm not mistaken. Either way, I'm probably going to immediately have an easier time adjusting to that because there is less of a power imbalance here, which is really nice and a good change of pace. What I do like is they've already established that people in this world are going to treat them very poorly because of their brand, their slave brand. This show has a lot of different things going for it, and while it is absolutely edgy, the Gore says as much, there is a difference between having edge just there and it's your sole crutch because you have nothing else to show, versus a show that is using its gore to hit you in the, oh my god, that is gross, that is disgusting, but here's all these extra elements that makes it more than a one-trick pony. I have a lot of faith in this one. Right now, there's a few shows, and Roll Over and Die is in that batch that are going to be fighting for my anime of the season chart for sure. Like, this is some good stuff. And rather than it just being okay, well, it's just the first episode, it could lose its edge. I've heard enough from subscribers and stuff that I recognize over many years, so opinions I trust a bit more than your average person telling me it's good, that seemingly really like the source material. If the production value stays up like this, if the story beats stay up like this is going to be a damn good revenge tour and wherever else it goes. Your thoughts down below, whether you checked this out because of my video or you've been anticipating Roll Over and Die. Let me know your thoughts down below. Drop a like, share your support, subscribe if you're new around here, and Patreon is where I catch my full live reactions to all this and more. Like, hey, I also like to give video shoutouts to my patrons because without them, you wouldn't see these YouTube videos at all. So today we got Catherine Holverson, BioZero, Newt Richard, Furious the Hip Hop, Deezer, Winkaya, Gonzago, SLF needs more love, and as I always say, Shangri-La Frontier does need more love. James Villers, John Veltri, and Yoon. So I appreciate the support. Please take care. Y'all have a good one.